Well, the zoning ordinance is a tool. It's an instrument, really, a regulatory instrument that the City Council will be able to use to regulate what various uses are attributed to different parcels of land within the city, different zones within the city. So essentially what it does, it looks at what exists already and what are the future the vision for the city in terms of how it will grow in the next 10, 20 years. It looks at, for example, we want a compact city. We're looking at higher floors, higher buildings, higher densities. And the zoning ordinance separates the city into different zones that will allow various uses as well as different heights of buildings and so forth in those areas, and it will be a legal instrument, so it will give the council authority to be able to regulate where those uses go. Well, some of the concerns, definitely, if you look at how the city is growing, you have, for example, the heritage areas. And if you go into those areas, the older parts of Belize City, it's very often you see those buildings being knocked down or they're burnt down, etc. And so we want a city that those type of buildings, the history of the city can be preserved. So definitely the zoning ordinance is looking at how those areas can be preserved so that the architecture that exists in those areas can be conserved. But also some of the other issues is, for example, the areas, informal settlements, where people are moving into the mangrove areas. And it's not only that they're cutting down these very valuable resources, but also that they're vulnerable. The people themselves are vulnerable in these areas. They're living over swamps and so forth. So looking at ways in which we can stop the informal settlements and looking at producing things like social housing that would assist people so that they would not go to settle in these areas and so forth.